Imagine you used to talk to the old woman who lived above you. You and old woman joked through the ceiling. Late night banter, knocks at 2 a.m. Then one night, she stood outside your door, whispering. The next day, I found out something impossible. She's been deaf and mute for years. So, hello guys. Welcome back to Mind Teller. Today's story is really scary and unsettling. Make sure you're not listening to this alone in an apartment, especially if someone lives above you. Let's begin.
My neighbor has a habit of always trying to guess what I'm doing. It's gone from funny to terrifying. There must be some unwritten law of the universe that guides the relationships with your neighbors. I think I speak for everybody when I say that there's a specific type of dynamic you only get to have with them. Yeah, I know how you look like, but I can't say another thing about you. I have no idea what your last or first name is. Usually you only remember one of them. And I know where you live, obviously, but I couldn't name a single thing about your life. Yeah, I'd feel odd if you died, but I wouldn't necessarily feel bad. You get me? There's at least one neighbor you have this relationship with. For me, it is Mrs. Varelli. I did not give a fuck about her, and neither did she about me. We rarely met. I'm divorced in my 30s, and she's in her 60s. She often wakes up before I leave for work to walk her dog, and I never see her after dark. She looks bad. Her eyes are sinking into her face, and her hands are rotten and twitchy. A crooked nose, fragile gray hair, almost balding if you asked me. She's a little mean. I greeted her once or twice, and she didn't respond at all. I only know her name because it's written on her mailbox in the building lobby, and I obviously didn't write it here. I changed some letters for anonymity. She lives above me. Sometimes she's really loud for an old lady. My guess is that she has her grandkids over because I hear a lot of stomping at night. She also keeps her TV on at odd hours, blasting all kinds of channels. I have no idea what this lady likes to watch. Again, it makes sense for her to have grandkids over since sometimes there are kids' channels blasting at full volume. My ceiling literally vibrates. Still, to put that on at 3 a.m., she's kind of a shitty grandma. Once, I couldn't stand it anymore and yelled at her to fucking quit it. Hey, ma'am. I got up on the table and banged on the ceiling. Quit it! The fuck? The obnoxious music went on for another 10-15 seconds, then it stopped. I remained on the table. Please stop blasting your shit at 4 a.m. Sorry, I heard her say. You banged on the ceiling? Yeah. Bet you had to jump on a table to do that. I found it funny. Yeah, actually. That's what anger'll do to you, ma'am. Since you're such a good guesser, what am I doing now? You jumped down. Maybe tripped a little. Wrong. I'm still on the table. I was lying. I'd actually jumped down, but I didn't trip. She didn't answer. The loud TV never returned. Over the weeks, we started this funny banter thing where she'd hear some bang and start to make guesses about what I'm doing. I found it ironic that I was half beefing with an old lady with a very deadpan sense of humor. You're gonna eat shredded cheese over the sink, then watch some weird young bullshit horror movie, then call it a night and go to sleep without brushing your teeth. Yeah, Grandma, that's exactly what I'll do. I'm surprised your hearing's so good after the war. Bet we have the same back problems. At least I have an excuse for that. I'd sometimes pass her in the lobby and I'd whisper hey, Grandma. She looked around as if she was embarrassed to be seen with me. I found that hilarious. A few weeks passed, and at around 2 a.m., Mrs. Varelli's voice came from above. Can't sleep, kitty? Don't call me kitty, Grandma. I'm not that old. Yeah, you are. Don't provoke me, Jay. I'll come down there to beat your ass. I'd like to see you trying. Silence. I thought she'd gone to sleep. Then I heard a knock at the door. No matter how you put it, a knock at the door at 2 a.m. can never be good. I was also a little freaked out by the possibility that my 60-year-old neighbor might have understood our banter a little wrong. I heard the knock again. I got up and crept to the door. I knew I'd locked it, but I still had my doubts. The knock came again, teasing and playful. Bro, what the fuck, I remember thinking. You're pretending not to be home? Something about it sent shivers down my spine. Hey, Mrs. Varelli, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not interested like that. Jay, do you honestly think I was into you? Oh, not at all. Just wanted to play a little hide and seek. Yeah, no, thanks. Her voice was now a little stretched. My body was incredibly stiff. I slowly looked through the peephole and saw nothing, and yet her voice came from behind the door. Hi, open the door. Let me guess, you're holding your breath. I stepped back, eyes wide open, throat dry. I wanted to say something, but the words died down. Then she began to sing. The words were hushed and stretched out, filling the silence like a bad dream fills an innocent conscience. Quiet feet on bathroom tile. Mirror holds you for a while. Lights are off, but eyes still see something standing where you'd be. I was seriously shitting my pants by now. I stepped back as she continued. Click the lock and check it twice, once for fear and once for nice. Shut the fuck up or I'll call the police. She stopped. I crept back to the peephole and watched the hallway for what felt like hours, but I caught no movement. She either left before I could reach the peephole, sprinting or leaping to the stairs, or waited crouched down for hours. I didn't know what was creepier. I didn't sleep all night after that. As dawn crept into my bedroom, I stared out the window and saw her casually walking her dog as if she hadn't just terrorized the shit out of me. In the sunlight, she seemed almost normal, a regular old lady. Who would have guessed that she was batshit crazy during the night? When I knew she was gone, I finally got dressed and went to work. I was late, of course. I came back after dark and ran into another neighbor. We'll call her Sandra. I practically grabbed her. She was obviously paralyzed and stared into my eyes with a fear I'd never known. I hadn't realized how it looked. I, a 36-year-old male, grabbing my 20-something neighbor and forcing her to look at me. Sandra, I'm, sorry, I haven't slept all night. You know Mrs. Varelli? Yeah, she lives above you, sir. Yeah, did she ever talk to you? She scared the shit out of me last night, stopped at my door at 2 a.m. and started fucking singing. Sandra frowned. Mrs. Varelli? Yes, we sometimes talk through the walls. It sort of started when I banged on her ceiling to quit blasting the TV so loud, and I thought we became friends after that, but she's fucking crazy. She shook her head. The apartment above you? Yeah, isn't that where Mrs. Varelli lives? Old, thin hair, walks her dog every morning? Yeah, but Mrs. Varelli is deaf and mute. You never noticed she never said a word to us? She never hears us. Her daughter visited her like 2 years ago and told me that. There's no way you've been talking to her. You can live next to someone for years, hear them every night, joke with them through the walls, and still have no idea who or what you were really talking to. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe someone else was in that apartment. Or maybe some doors shouldn't be answered at 2 a.m. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to like the video. Subscribe to Mind Teller for more disturbing Reddit stories. And before you go to sleep tonight, just listen carefully, especially if someone lives above you.